Welcome to the Caravan Show, where we discuss all things caravans. That's right, everything you need to know about caravans, from weights, towing, maintenance, appliances, renovations, buying a caravan, repairs, destinations and reviews. We'll also chat with some Aussie legends, manufacturers, suppliers and of course, people who love caravans. Take it away, Roy.
G'day everyone, it's Roy here from the Caravan Show and Podcast, and we have today on the line Mayor Tanya Milligan from the Lockyer Valley region here in Queensland. G'day Tanya.
G'day Roy, how are you?
I'm good. Hey Tanya, how long have you been Lord Mayor, or Mayor should I say?
Mayor, since 2016, so I've been in local government since 2000 and stood for Mayor in 2016.
So is that a council appointed or is that a vote from the people?
No, it's a vote from the people, Roy.
So they've got to be happy with you if they voted you back in.
Well, I was really blessed that I came back this last term of council unopposed. So that obviously tells me that people were either pleased or that they think it's just a bit of a rough job.
Either
Not
way.
sure.
Are you a local girl?
Yeah, I am. So as a kid, we lived at Cathy, which is out near the Mount Sylvia Tent Hill area. I grew up in Gatton. In fact, when I look out from my office window doors, it actually overlooks where the local IGA is, which when I was a kid, my grandfather had a local mechanic shop there. So that's kind of nice and a bit historical for me. And I now live in Laidley.
So is yours a family business, or are you part of a family business there in the area?
Certainly back in the days when the mechanics Cathy Car Sales used to be here, that was, but it's no longer there. But certainly local girl with a farming background.
So you're really devoting all your time and efforts into the job, is that right?
Yeah, look, I think it's really nice as mayor to be able to say that I live here by choice. You know, as a young person, I, like most young people, thought the grass was going to be greener somewhere else. So you kind of finish school and you move to other areas. But I did a full circle and I came back, raised my family. So I really I love my area, and I'm really accountable because I'm related to lots of people here.
That does make things tricky, doesn't it? So tell us about
right.
Lockyer Valley. So where is the Lockyer Valley exactly?
Yeah, look, we are affectionately known as Australia's salad bowl. We certainly promote that, you know, our region is one of the 10 most fertile farming areas in the world. We are conveniently located just an hour west of Brisbane. I always tell people that, you know, we have this great opportunity for a wonderful lifestyle to raise a family. You can have, you know, the block that's big enough for the pony for the kids and a couple of dogs. But, you know, if you want to go to the big shopping centres, you could still do that. And if you love the beach and the coast and fishing, well, you could still be from where I am right now in Gatton. You could be at the coast within 2 hours, feet in the sand, having a cold one, peeling your prawns and still enjoying the beach. So I just say we're just uniquely located. We're, you know, population of about 42,000, 2,200 square kilometres. Beautiful place. Beautiful place, Roy.
I was just daydreaming while you're doing that, thinking, hang on a second, I might just get up from my chair and go for a bit of that. That sounds absolutely awesome. So you're an hour out of Melbourne, but you've got other big cities close by, because Toowoomba's close, isn't it?
Yeah, Toowoomba, great neighbour. They're just up the hill. So like in Gatton, I can be up in Toowoomba in like 20 minutes on a good run. And then Ipswich, you know, Ipswich is about a half an hour, and you know, be in Brisbane in an hour. So it's, like I said, it's a absolutely wonderful lifestyle. You know, do the work stuff during the week, but it's just a great place to raise your family and just, you know, get back to some basics. It's wonderful.
So talking about your region and what its culture has got and what sort of infrastructure and what your economics are, you've got, from what you were saying before, a fairly diverse farming there. So tell us something about the produces that are produced there.
Yeah, okay. So if I talk about our region, so our region's pretty busy all year round because we are a key agricultural area. We supply some of the highest quality and I will say the freshest produce to markets in Australia and also overseas. There's always veggies in the ground and there's always veggies being harvested. So if you look at our harvest calendar, it kind of reflects the seasonality of produce. So with vegetables like, for instance, sweet corn and beans, they get harvested across summer to the winter freshness and smells of the brassicas like your cabbages and your collies and your broccoli and your potatoes. Um, we also have, an events calendar, which, tends to highlight the seasons as well. So, like, for instance, even Laidley Spring Festival, which is in September, however, I will say isn't happening this year due to COVID. But then in saying that too, you won't see too many events across summer because it is a little warm out here. So really from about April through to October, you'll generally find in our region music festivals, swap meets, motorsport events, heritage festivals, horse events. Chrome and Clutter and Murphy's Creek have this awesome chili festival. So I always think that we're a bit spoilt, Roy, because there's always something to do and you can't get everywhere.
Yeah, I know Laidley is one of the popular spots for a motorbike swap meet that happens every year, isn't it?
Yes, and that's the neck of the woods where I actually live. But yeah, but like right across the region, Roy, there is just always something for everyone, regardless of what you're into or not into, and whatever depending on what your age bracket is.
Gatton's well known too. Is that where the weather station is, I think, at Gatton?
Yeah, so Gatton's certainly well known. So that's where the heavy horse event that we have annually is. It actually started at Laidley many moons ago, but it now is here in Gatton. That's also where the motorsport events will be at the Gatton Showgrounds, and there's a large equestrian centre also at the Gatton Showgrounds. And there's pretty much horse events there every weekend, and they have the World Cup show jumping event here in Gatton as well.
Are there many caravan parks around? Because our listeners are really interested in being able to go places like this, but of course when they get there they have to have somewhere to stay. So is there caravan parks in your area?
Yeah, there's probably about 5. So Gatton Caravan Park, Lake Dyer out at Laidley. There's also a caravan park at Helidon, up at beautiful Tent Hill and Murphy's Creek Escape. And there's a couple of free camp sites. I know we all like to be a bit savvy with our dollars. So William Kent Park, it's in Gatton, and it was the old swimming pool site. It's just super handy because it's just behind the main street in Gatton. It's a free camping site. So too is the Heifer Creek Rest Area, which is a beautiful meander up through that area. Well worth the drive up through there, and just a gorgeous spot to stay. And also Nada Lagoon Rest Area, it's also a free campsite, and it's at Laidley and just across from the Laidley Pioneer Village. So you can camp overnight, stay there and go check out what's happening over at the Laidley Pioneer Village.
Do you know if any of those parks are pet friendly?
Yes. So pet friendly. I do know that Murphy's Creek Escape, I think that one is pet friendly. Under supervision, I will say, of course. Also, Centenary Park, the Fordsdale, Heifer Creek, Laidley's Showgrounds. I'm running this through my head. Sorry, Roy, as I'm talking.
Okay.
And the Mulgowie Hall and the William Kemp. So, yeah, so they are all pet friendly. But, yeah, Murphy's Creek Escape is the one that you need to supervise. But then all good, responsible pet owners, we always supervise our animals. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely. So because you're not that far from any major centres, I guess my next question relates to caravan repairs and motor vehicle repairs. But you'd have some of that in your region. If not, well, you're a hop, skip and jump from Toowoomba or Brisbane itself, aren't you?
Yeah, we certainly have plenty of mechanics, but as far as caravan repairers, you've got Lockyer RV, so they've got like a 5-star rating, great customer service, super friendly, super helpful, and you'll get prompt attention and repairs. And they really pride themselves on getting their work done and completed efficiently and on time for our travellers. So definitely Lockyer RV.
Well, there you go, folks. There's a really good review for Lockyer RV, getting
That's
a
right.
5-star rating from the local mayor. It doesn't get much better than that. So our visitors have arrived there. They've got Caravan Parks. They're all set up. Where are they going to go? What sort of things can they expect to be able to see and do? I heard you mention before a museum, so that's a good start. So tell us about the museum.
Yep. Okay. So Laidley Pioneer Village, if you were staying at Nada, Laidley Pioneer Village is right across the road. Beautiful spot, fantastic volunteers. The place is actually run, managed, organised by the volunteers. If they know you're coming, especially if you're travelling as a group, they can certainly provide and do morning tea at a small price. So certainly can do that. And I always say too, our region is just beautiful, just day trip weekend. We certainly love people to stay longer because it does have that easy access off the Warrego Highway, Roy. And I always say, we are a thriving community, and there's just heaps to see, like charming towns, villages. I always tell people, if you haven't been to Forest Hill, go to Forest Hill. It's quaint, it's rustic. We've got plenty of towns and villages. Got those country pubs that I will say give the country size portions, if you know what I mean. Plenty of warm hospitality and great cold beverages. There's places like the Barn and Scotty's Garage, which is up near Flagstone. People love. There's meaning to stop. Like it's at Glenelg Grove, the crossroads there. But certainly lots of things to do. If you're into heritage, yes, there's the Pioneer Villages. There's a Queensland Transport Museum. It's at the Lockyer Valley Cultural Centre, just on the outskirts of Gatton. You've got Spring Bluff Railway Station, so you can meander from out of our region if you're heading up to Toowoomba. It's stunning, absolutely sensational to go up there. Back in Laidley, you've got Das Newman House. It's a great way to check out, what it was like in a German settler's home. We've said Laidley Pioneer Village, Gatton Historical Village. It's great. Jesse's Cottage. It's at Murphy's Creek. So plenty of great historical heritage to actually immerse yourself in. Food. Well, we are a prolific vegetable growing region. What can I say? There are roadside stalls, Roy. So there'll be something on offer straight from the farm. We're a bit spoilt, I guess, because I can go from Laidley to Gatton to Laidley and still pick up my produce from the roadside stalls on the way to work and on the way home. And SEQ Food Trail, you can actually build a food trail. So if you go on the SEQ Food Trail website, you can actually plot your journey. So if you're coming from Brisbane going through to Toowoomba, you can actually plot your journey into those regions anywhere through southeast Queensland, and you can put in what experiences you want to do. Like if you wanted to go to the markets or you wanted to do a brewery or a winery. So I always say to people, check out that SEQ Food Trail. And then you've got your nature-based. I mean, we all, especially like with what has happened during COVID, everyone's back into nature-based recreation. It's just a great way to reconnect with family and friends. So, you can go walking at the lakes, walking at the parks. We've got some really stunning parks. And, what a great way to throw out the picnic rug and with a great book and a nice platter of cheese and a nice cold drink and just sit down and read a book.
A lot of our listeners are fishermen too, or fisher people, should I say, be politically correct. Is there fishing in the region?
Not the fishing that I'm sure that I would have grown up with. So no, not a lot of fishing in our region.
What about dams? I thought you had dams in your region.
Yeah, so you've got like So we've got Lake Dyer, so there's a bit of it's a little bit low at the moment, but it's certainly one of those camping areas. And not far from us, you've got Somerset. You've also got Wivenhoe.
Yeah, so there is water sports allowed on some of those lakes, isn't there?
Yes, depending on the time of year and how much water is in them.
So tell me, Tanya, because I know this has been a tough time for everyone, and you mentioned the water lows because we've also suffered from droughts here in Queensland,
Yeah.
although the focus seems to be on the New South Wales, but Queensland suffered as well. And you've suffered with the COVID-19 like the rest of the country has. How much of an impact is it making not having the tourism, not having the caravanners able to get to you?
Look, it's huge. If I look at our region, Lockyer Valley, so we had the 2011 flood, we had the 2013 flood, we then had Cyclone Debbie, we went into drought, we then had bushfires last October, um, and now we've got COVID. And as much as I pride myself and our community that we're a pretty resilient mob, and we've always got each other's back, and people are really. I love the fact that people are continually just checking in on their neighbours and making sure everyone's okay. But certainly with what has happened with the pandemic, it has certainly been quieter. Last weekend was wonderful, Roy, because Laidley Town has the markets on a Friday, so they started up last Friday. Mulgowie had their farmers markets, their first market back last Saturday, and it would have had to have been one of the biggest markets they've had for a very long time. And it was just heartening that so many visitors came out. One, because, restrictions have been eased and we can get out a bit more, but it's just really heartening to know that people are so supportive of regional areas like Lockyer Valley and are out supporting our people, our local people, our farmers, and just really back in there. It was just wonderful because we rely on that. We really rely on that.
Absolutely need it. And we've been pushing very hard on our show that people can get out and start touring within their states, their own states right now. You don't need to wait for the entire country to open up. Poor Victoria is going to suffer quite badly. And as much as we'd like to see the Victorians up here, right now they really can't, and none of us can afford that to happen. But, if you live in Brisbane or, anywhere in this southeast corner, you don't have to travel that far. It's we keep trying to bang this home to people. Look, I've got family here in southeast Queensland that don't live that far out of Lockyer Valley, and yet I know for a fact that they travel much further than that to go on holidays because they think that's what you need to do. Where in reality, we can actually go camping almost literally in our own backyard. You can travel from Brisbane into the Lockyer Valley. You can park up there. You could spend days, weeks, or actually you could even spend months there if you wanted to, and you're still going to be able to do the type of things you can do no matter where you travel around Australia because it's got everything there to offer in the first place. You don't need to wait for it to open up, do we?
And you're speaking my speak. Absolutely, I'm a hiker. We went to Kokoda back in 2009, and I personally was amazed by some incredible places, all within like 2 hours of where I live. And here we've got you can do a farm stay at Fordsdale Farm Stay. You've got Awasi Cheesery, where they make that you can discover how sheep's milk turns into cheese out there, and you can do the Awasi Shepherd's Lunch and in the avocado grove. You've got Nine Dove Farms. When I say you can visit the girls, I actually mean the chooks, the chickens and they're in their caravans, and you can collect the eggs, and they've got fish out there that they jade perch and some Murray cod and barramundi, which they then sell to the restaurant market. So there's some truly incredible places that is just in our own backyard. So I absolutely agree with you, Roy. We're really We are really blessed, and when they say we are the lucky country, we certainly are, and we don't have to travel far.
Yeah, we don't always appreciate it. So I'm going to put you on the spot now, Tanya, because I love doing this. Um, because a lot of the information that you're telling us about today, you can find on Google.
Yeah.
You can find at your information centres, but there's always that bit of local knowledge where there's some secrets there that aren't generally well known. And so I'm going to ask you to name a few secrets, things that you know of in your place that are special, that really probably aren't getting the the airplay, if you like, as much as other things. So share a couple of secrets with us.
Okay. Well, what I will say is there are numerous times that I'll be driving from wherever I am in my region that I'll actually pull over, Roy, and I'll take a photo. And it could be a sunrise, or it could be a sunset, or it could be just picturesque landscape. Um, and if you look at my Instagram, you'll see that stuff. I'm a cup half full kind of girl, so I can see the beauty in just about anything. So I always think the region is just beautiful, whether we're in flood or we are in drought. It's still stunning landscape. Now, I used to live on Laidley Creek West Road, so I always found that area up through to Mulgowie. So if you're doing the Mulgowie markets at any time, it's always the first Saturday of the month. Head up the creek, head up through Townsend. Like there's dairies up that end of the region. It's a bit like God's country up there. It's beautiful. It's stunning. It's green. You could be in Laidley and you can see that the rain clouds are up the head of the valley. So I always say it's beautiful. Um, Nada Lagoon, which is in Laidley, is really stunning. There's a bridge there. There is water there over the lagoon at the moment, and that's also where the free camping is, and you'll find Laidley Pioneer Village. Um, there's a really nice picnic area. It feels like a part of town, but it also feels like a part of the bush, and that's really just purely the way the environment and the gardens, the landscaping has been developed. Our We've just put in some story path signs along the way. So anyone who's travelling with some kids, with young kids, there's some great ways to interact and read the stories along the signage to tell the story about our environment and some of the animals that you find in our region. And those story paths are at Nada Lagoon in Laidley, but also at Lake Apex in Gatton. Just a great way for mums and dads and nans and pops to spend some time with their kids.
Talking about history there, is there an Indigenous population in the area?
So we do. We don't have a huge population, but we certainly, our history certainly does reflect that. And we also have some old caves with that. So there's some pretty guarded type secrets, I guess, but the ladies and the gents that are in at our visitor information centre, we certainly share all those secrets.
You're not going to share at least one of them today? I mean, I love caves. So when I hear about caves, my ears prick up because I'm thinking there's got to be some secrets down there somewhere.
Do you know if for any of your listeners that go up through Heifer Creek to the free area where you can camp, when I was a little girl, and my mum has some of the photos, when you're travelling up through that area, there used to be a whole heap of caves in there on the right. So if you were travelling from Gatton up through and meandering up through that road, there used to be caves there, Roy, when I was a kid, because the locals would, put their names on it. Unfortunately, they're not there anymore. It's still a beautiful area to drive up through, and some of us locals still have the photos of when the caves were there.
So what happened to the caves?
They actually, it's called Progress.
Oh.
It's called Progress when they put the widened the roads up in through that area. Yeah, which is a real shame. I mean, I know everyone makes decisions based on the information that they've been given at the time, but yeah, it was a bit sad because But anyway, my family, we still have photos, as I'm sure plenty of locals still do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the only good news with history is that it's a learning centre for the future. So we can learn and improve along the way, can't we?
I agree with you. Absolutely.
Now, you haven't mentioned any kind of wine or beer or anything like that. Is there any local beverage made that we should know about?
Well, I will say that you won't beat any of the country hospitality anywhere else that we have here in our region. Um, Certainly, Preston Peak, they have a great winery that's heading up towards Toowoomba if you're doing the drive through our region. Um, but, look, you can't go past a great country pub. And we certainly have plenty of them. And even if you're popping into Forest Hill, small town, great town, and there are two pubs there.
Sounds fantastic. So, to our listeners, what are you going to tell them, Tanya? In closing, we're going to say, come on out to the Lockyer Valley. We've got lots of things to show you out here, lots of things to do. Tanya's waiting at the doorstep there as you come into Laidley. And say good day to Tanya, because she's going to be on the side of the road with a big banner saying, welcome, welcome, come and join us. Is that right?
Do you know, I always say to people, why would you live anywhere else? And as I said, as mayor, I've lived in numerous places in Queensland, and I lived in Armidale, New South Wales for a while, but I've done a full circle, Roy, and I live here by choice, and it is just perfect. Great, great community, resilient community. We're close enough to everything, but far enough away where you've got that lifestyle. And now we live in an age where people want to know what they eat. It's really important as far as what we eat. And if you come here to this region, you'll actually meet the farmer who's actually grown the sweet corn. So you won't get too far without being able to stop, pull over at one of our roadside stalls and grab some local, fresh produce. And we really have some really amazing local community people that are really warm, and lots of people will be happy to share their yarns.
So there you go. You've heard it all from Tanya Milligan in the Lockyer Valley. Tanya, again, I know that as mayor, you're a very busy lady and you've taken the time out today, which we appreciate. So, look, again, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about the Lockyer Valley, and hopefully, listeners, you'll get your butts into gear and get out there and enjoy it.
Yeah, really, really grateful, Roy, and I'm probably no more busier than you or any of your listeners. So thank you very much for the opportunity. It's been lovely talking to you.
Thanks, Tanya.
Thank you.